Welcome back, fellow milk drinkers, to yet another Monday Milk Review. Today, we're going to be looking at the Icebreak and Oak Mocha. I've actually been looking forward to this one because there's not really that many mochas on the market. All you really have is Dare, as well as the Nescafe Mocha. I'm not a big coffee person, and I usually do tend to go towards mochas when I want to drink some. Icebreak is a bit of a brand that I stay away from, being purely iced coffee. However, with the collaboration of Oak, I can imagine that it's going to have a decent chocolatey taste. The serving size is the 500ml bottle in its entirety. If you're interested in the nutritional information, here it is right now. But with that out of the way, let's get right on into it. I've already shaken it up, so let's crack it open and go for a smell. So the thing that sticks out the most to me is definitely the caffeine flavor. The chocolate's there underlying, but it's not super strong. Let's pour it in. I will say it's already looking pretty thin. I wouldn't say there's much to be looking forward to in terms of a thickness. Smelling from the glass now. Again, it's that coffee flavor that's super present. I don't get too much of a note of the chocolate, so let's get into that taste and see what it's like. Interesting. So this has gone in an entirely different direction to Dare, and it's actually definitely way more bitter of an approach to an iced coffee mocha. Nescafe I found was quite a lot like this. I'd have to compare the amount of caffeine in both. I feel like that would be a really good comparison between the two similar flavor profiles. From memory, I think I remember the Nescafe being a lot more bitter, so if you do like the bitter approach but don't want to go way too strong, this definitely sits as a bit of an intermediary between the Dare being very sweet and the Nescafe being quite bitter. This one is only a little bit bitter, so if you're looking for something in the center, I can't really say that there's much that exists for you yet. One advantage though is I'm not seeing any of that cream separation, which I remember being a thing in the Nescafe. It's not a big deal, but I do like to see that because it means that the cream is being correctly distributed amongst all of the liquid. Every mouthful is going to have the same consistency, whereas when you've got cream separation, it may have a bit of deviation. Honestly, it's quite tasty, very easy to finish. I actually decided to check this one out because one of the viewers actually said it was pretty good. Thanks Gary for the input. In terms of what you'd want from a mocha, it seems to have a really decent amount of coffee presence, but it's got a nice subtle amount of chocolate as well. So this definitely sort of has its own market for the coffee drinkers who want something just with a little touch of sweetness. And it doesn't go too overboard in the one direction. For instance, some may consider Dare too sweet, too milky. This one sort of sits on the opposite side of the spectrum with Nescafe. Something of note though, Nescafe is a very small can. I think it's 200ml, perhaps 250. This being 500 is obviously a lot more heavier than the Nescafe. Perhaps you wanted something small and quick, I would always recommend the Nescafe, but if you're wanting something to enjoy over a longer period of time, then perhaps the Icebreak is a really good choice for you. I believe they're in a similar price bracket as well, this being around less than $3.50, and the Nescafe I think was $2 to $2.50. I don't really find that there's too much that needs improving upon. Yes, the thickness is just kind of standard, it's not great. This one being an iced coffee, I would allow it to have a much more thinner consistency. Naturally, I do actually prefer a sweeter mocha, so I think I would still probably stick to Dare as a go-to. If you do like this more bitter approach though, this is one you should check out. Purely because it's not really to my taste preference, I'm gonna give this one an 8 out of 10, which by all means is still a really high rating. The missing points are purely due to my own bias. If it was a little bit sweeter, I would have rated it higher. I just don't really like this type of take on mochas. If you're looking to try it yourself, I've seen this in both Coles and Woolworths, and it's just about $3. There's always a chance that you're going to see it in IGA and Drake's and Spar and other independent grocers like that, but I know confirmed that they're in all of the Woolworths and Coles. Just a quick note though, I can only promise that for the Gold Coast and possibly Greater Queensland region. I don't know about the other states, and it's probably the same, but I don't know. But that about wraps us up for this week's episode of the Monday Milk Review. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please drop a like on the video. And if you want to keep up to date with everything that I review here, why don't you subscribe? Please Remember, drop down below what other milks you're looking forward to. This one I purely looked at because someone was interested in it. So if there's other milks that you're interested in, I know one person has been talking about both the pineapple and raspberry flavored Super Dupers, which are still on my list. But if you're interested in anything else, please let me know down below. Thank you once again, and I'll see you next week in the Monday Milk Review. Bye bye!